What's up, everybody? Happiest of Saturdays to everyone. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We are here to do our weekly recap of the OWN show, The Never Ever Mets. This is the Newlymet game, season 1, episode 7. And we have James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. I told y'all he would be back, and he has returned. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you for having me back, and thank you guys, all Mrs. Best's subscribers who have asked about me. I appreciate the prayers. I appreciate the love. You guys, that was so amazing to see as I was going through what I was going through. You guys, it's still a rough road for me today. So I'm still going through. It's still there, but I appreciate all the love, y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's so good. That's so good, you guys. And as always, again, the link is in the description to James's channel. Click it, subscribe to him, especially if you're already on YouTube. It'll take you right there. You don't even have to stop watching this video to subscribe to his channel. Just hit the link. It's very, very easy. But we're going to get into this episode. This episode was a lot. Last week's episode was a lot. And I find myself wondering, like, wow, like, number one, we still going. And number two, I have officially, after today's episode, lost all hope for any of these couples actually having a shot of being together off camera. I didn't have much hope. I don't think James did either. But like now, the hope is gone. It's like
some of them, I'm like, why would you do this to us? Why? Yeah, I know who I'm talking about, Josh.
It was just the Hot Mess Express, y'all. It was the Hot Mess Express. So Greg and Millie are discussing, the trauma that they have with a doctor. I was so happy to see a doctor, someone who's got a degree in counseling and specializes in couples counseling, things like that. I feel like that's what this show was missing. Me and James have spoken about that from the beginning. Having a professional really could have probably helped viewers navigate some of the mess that we've had to watch, and could have helped some of the house guests navigate and prevent craziness, specifically like CNN Brandon probably really could have used a professional. But Greg and Millie are discussing trauma with this professional, and he ends up admitting that he has experienced molestation before. Now, we last saw the way they left off. It looked like Millie was throwing a whole attitude because it wasn't about her. But it turns out that she was supportive of him. And I know some will say, well, she didn't really show support till he showed discomfort. But at the very least, at least she saw his discomfort and changed her tune to support him instead of continuing to make things about herself. She does end up reassuring Greg, and she does encourage him to address his trauma. How did you feel, James, about that whole interaction in the meet with that doctor now that it's over? Because I was like, I felt like she said the right things, but I don't feel like Millie specifically was receptive.
I agree with that. I don't think she was receptive at all. And another thing is, I wish they would have kept a little bit more on the editing room table, because I felt like we probably missed it and probably edited it out. I felt like he did delve deeper into that, and I wanted to hear what that was. I wanted to hear exactly, whatever it was they left out. I wanted to hear it, because then it maybe would have softened my sharpness to him, because I don't see it for Greg at all. I don't. But I feel like this probably would have made me understand him a little bit better and how he's moving with this relationship, because how I see it now, not knowing that information, I really don't see it for them. I don't think that they're going to make it.
Yeah, personally, I don't see it for them either. I never really fully have, just because of how she is, Merce. But I did like the way that he carries himself, the way that he moves and things like that. I agree with you that hearing what he went through, it did make sense. I also want to say that I respect him coming on television as a Black man, especially in the Black community. There's a stigma on speaking about things like that. And I feel like, I know this specifically just for working in psychology and studying it, there are certain cultures and communities of men that in general just men as a whole are uncomfortable sometimes admitting when they have been sexually assaulted in some way. And And I think it's good that they showed it. It's okay to speak about it because trauma is something we cannot run from. You can try to, you can think you're burying it, but it's going to shape how you are, how you move, what you do. And I'm glad that he was able to speak about that. I'm glad that she did reassure him. So it looks like Greg's going to be having a birthday coming up, and Millie wants to plan a 90s party for him, which is thoughtful. So we will see more with that. But the group gets together to play a game. And this is the game that's titled after the name of this crazy ass episode, the Newlymet game, which is kind of a clever name because they are the Never Ever Mets playing the Newlymet game. But what happens is they are trying to see who knows each other best, basically, amongst the couples. The couple together the shortest amount of time, they seem to have done like okay, but I was kind of surprised that Chris didn't remember stuff. I mean, they've only been talking for 3 months. I feel like, well, hell, you forgot certain things that happened within 90 days. It hasn't been that long. So now I'm looking at them with a little bit of a side eye.
I always did. That didn't surprise me. The only couple that surprised me in the game was Millie and Greg. That was the only couple that surprised me.
I was not surprised by them. I was not. And the only reason why is because I have seen Millie in other things before. I know that she's somebody that's been trying to get onto television for some time, whether it be acting, reality TV. I didn't trust the authenticity of her relationship with Greg primarily because of her.
Mm.
Uh, so I'm not surprised that he didn't know
See,
much about her. I don't think she's really telling him much in a way for
see,
people.
and I think the opposite. I think that, and see, this is allegedly, y'all. I'm just saying allegedly. I think he has somebody else. I do, and that's
Uh,
the reason why he does not remember these key details. Because one, he shouldn't have missed her birthday.
yeah,
I don't
that's
care. Like that's like to me, you shouldn't have missed the birthday. And there was something else that he missed that I felt like that is so stupid. Like you couldn't remember that. I can't think of what was it. The hobby? I think it was the hobby.
It was he missed the hobby, he missed the sex position. He or no, he knew the sex
No, he
position,
knew the sex position. That's the only thing he didn't know. And mind you, they have not had sex. So
but that just tells you like a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm not having sex, that makes me better or I'm avoiding drama," but they'll still engage in the phone sex, the sexting, the FaceTime
right.
sex, all of those kind of things. I feel like they engaged in that. I do feel like Greg might have another person cuz that's crazy to just not remember that. My husband has like the worst memory ever, but he will remember my birthday. He even learned my little social security number. Now I'm watching him. But I'm just joking, you guys. We've been together for 16 plus years. We fine. We fine. But no, I'm just saying, like it yeah, men are forgetful, but usually they remember birthdays if they care about the person. That's just how it goes.
Hmm.
Uh, but I just found it weird. I did appreciate Shay's honesty. I do want to point that out. When they mentioned the hardest obstacle that they've had to overcome as a couple, she said him having a baby. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that you're finally starting to talk about this. But again, I'm going to quote James. I feel like this show is terrible with editing. I don't think that this would be the first time that she is bringing up or discussing him having a baby,
No.
especially so deep into this experimental show or whatever. So I
Well,
feel like
because
they should have been editing that.
what she said in that moment was that when she found out he was having the baby, she didn't talk to him for 2 years.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't understand why there wasn't further punishment. Because once you have a baby on me, we're no longer speaking ever in life. I will walk right past you act like I don't see you.
Mm.
That's the ultimate betrayal. Which is why when we get into the end, she pissed me off even more because I feel like that was even more stupid of
Yeah.
you to even
Yeah.
go this far. So we'll get to that in a minute, y'all. But what I'm saying is for me, Shay to me, I feel like she doesn't try. And this is where I'm gonna get. I feel like and what I'm gonna say about this, y'all. Don't take this the wrong way, women. I'm not coming at y'all, but I'm saying is I don't think she really does try to put herself out there freely and willingly to date in her realm of wherever she is. I feel like because he's light skinned, chipper personality, seems relaxed most of the time. I think she is settling because she feels that that's the best she can do. And I hate when women put themselves in that position because let me tell you something. No matter how good you think you can do, there's always something better for you, no
Yeah,
matter what.
that's true. I definitely call BS. It has to do with something like that. I do think that her lack of feeling secure, she is very insecure. It is easy to notice. I think that's why she's choosing to date somebody far away, even separate from what he looks like and all of that, so that if he does do her wrong, which he did, she don't have to have people in town or mutual friends and all of that in her business. She does give that energy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot that happens with her, you guys. We go cut back to her. Millie on my last nerve. She is upset at the game because they're done playing this Newlymet game, and she's mad because she's like, Greg don't know nothing about me, and she feels like he's trying so hard, but then he doesn't know anything, and she says that that doesn't even make sense, which would make sense that he has another person, as James has alluded, because that doesn't make sense. You're trying so hard, but then at the same time, you can't remember anything. So she says that Greg is in the doghouse. On the other end, this is an unpopular opinion. I don't buy that this is a legit relationship. I don't think either of them are really interested in each other. But because it's on the show, I'll entertain it. Let's say it is a legit relationship. I feel like she is the type of chick that will use sex as like a weapon or something to, as a way to get her way. It's like you kissing him, you rubbing on him, you touching on him. I'm not saying that her trauma is non existent or that it can't be impacting her because that could be it. But it's like she takes every little thing, even prior to this birthday thing. She takes every little thing and uses it as a way to say, oh, I can't get to intimacy. I need to build trust. I need this. I'm just tired of hearing it. Like, please, Millie, either shit or get off the pot.
I
Something.
agree with that because she does use it as a tactic to punish him when he does something wrong. I do agree with that. But at the same time, like she has in some instances valid reasons to withhold
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to give you, this whole mile if you only walk in an inch of effort. I just don't want to do that. And why waste my time? And that's the thing. And that's where I agree with you with her being so hard up on him because it is coming across as you're wasting your time because you're not allowing him to even feel that there's compatibility there. You're shutting him down anytime he makes you mad. And seeing that that's the case, who wants to be in a relationship with somebody who's going to use sex as a tactic to punish someone else?
I just don't like how these chicks in this house, though, James, they act funny. Like, and I hate to say it, but they act really funny, and then they keep talking about being victims of SA, which I understand and I empathize with them. I am one too, but I'm just like, y'all is constantly saying, I can't give you this kiss. I feel uncomfortable with this activity. I don't want to do that or this because of this reason or that piece of trauma, or I need to build trust. But then these heifers is sleeping in the bed with these men all snuggled up, half naked. Some of them is naked. Some of them is screwing. I don't understand it. If you are not comfortable enough to have somebody hold you in a hot tub, or if you feel like someone was too forward with the kiss, but you could be all up in their bed snuggling and stuff, with the exception of Jody, like make it make sense. I, because we know Jody ain't doing nothing. She's not doing anything. But the rest of them, we saw, especially with last week's episode, like these couples have ignored like how the house was structured. Now they in each of the men's room, like that's what they doing. And I'm like, y'all are sleeping with these men at night, but you uncomfortable. Make it make sense. So anywho, that's just my point that I noticed. Please don't come for me, y'all. Please don't come for me. I didn't send for any of y'all, and I'm just here to give my opinion. All right, that's all. Anywho, Aaron finally admits, y'all, that there's a rift between he and Jody. I don't know who else hollered at the TV like, hello, like, where you been?
I'm just like, okay, so what did you think? What did you think was going on between you two? Did you think there was just some tension? Like,
Listen, I'm less
I,
awkward with my male friends. I touch James more than Aaron and Jody touch. Okay. And he's always been a friend. I interact and will touch him physically more than Aaron and Jody touch. I can
I mean,
give
it's
them
not
a hug.
even like
I freak out.
it's like to me, and this is where she pisses me off. At. We'll get. I'm sure you're gonna get to that date pretty soon, but I'm just gonna say like a little disclaimer. If you knew you didn't want no parts of this man from the first date, then why didn't you say something then? Because see, this is what's gonna make me completely exonerate him from him having any fault in this. This is what I'm saying because I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. I really did with the whole him us questioning his sexuality thing. Now I don't even care about that anymore. Her disdain for this man is so crazy to me. It's like, well, then who the fuck were you? Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Vest. Who were you talking to in that 6 months then, or how many 9 months, or is it? I don't
Let
remember.
me tell you, these two, like, this is the first time, like, yeah, we have our little opinions on Aaron. He's a little dainty. He is. But
But
he
I'm
don't
starting to think.
nobody deserves to be led on, taken for a ride, or under the influence that they have a shot when they don't. We are gonna get into that date very, very shortly. We learned at this point that he has planned another date for himself and Jody. He wants redemption from the first date when he didn't know how to open the damn wine and she freaked out. I thought she was too hard on him anyway. There's a lot of people who don't know how to
Don't know
open
how to do that.
wine.
Yeah, that
I had to teach
was
my husband
ridiculous.
how to use the doggone wine opener. Nothing wrong with it. Some people just don't know. Teach them instead of attacking them. I hate people like that. You don't get mad at somebody for not knowing something. If it really bothers you, then teach them so that
Well,
they'll
it's
always know
stupid thing
going
to get
forward.
mad at. Like when you think of like so many more things you could be mad at, that's a stupid thing to be mad at. Just
Right.
because he
Look
can
at your
open.
paycheck and all them
Right,
deductions. That's something to be mad at. Look at
right.
the tax rate on property tax or the taxes on purchase of a home. That's something to be mad at. She wanna be mad at that damn wine opener. She get on my nerves, old piranha mouth. Um, moving on, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not even trying to be funny. Google a picture of a piranha and then look at Jody. That's all I'm saying.
I'm
She's a
not
pretty
going
girl.
to. I'm
I
not
think
doing
we
that.
all, in some ways, favor an animal. She just happens to favor marine life. That's
I'm
all I'm saying.
not doing this with you tonight.
It's the truth. Jay Z too.
I'm not doing this with
Okay,
you tonight.
I'm gonna behave before my friend get me. So go on the way to the date. This is how you know it's not gonna go well. They sitting in silence in the car. I don't care if it's an Uber. When I be in an Uber with a friend, my dude, whoever, we chatting it up, looking at the phone. We're not just sitting like it's
And I
straight
mean,
silence.
we gonna be as loud as Smokey Mama when she was on the phone with yesterday. We're gonna be that loud. That Uber driver gonna kick us out.
Right.
I mean,
He
when
gonna
I
be
tell
so
you,
excited when we get off that car.
you could hear an ant crawl up in that car, like seriously, what
I
the
said, there's
hell?
no
There's
chemistry.
none. And
Zero.
so we'll get through the day because I'm about to burst your bubble right here.
Oh
Get
no,
through
you
the
about to
day.
get mad. Dave's about to get mad, y'all, because before we could get to the date, the next thing we get to see through this show is Chris is having his friend Ben's come. First of all, I don't like that this guy's name is plural. That really pissed me off. It's plural with a Z too. And that really bothered me for whatever reason. James, you can think that I'm petty, but like, what if I was like, my name's Amina's? What if I called you James's?
Well, first of all,
Ben?
that's not this man's real name. First off, someone
I'm
put his
sure it's not.
somebody put his real name out there somewhere. I just didn't have the. I didn't really
He
pay
looked like a
attention.
Theodore. Stop playing with us. I
No, he looked like somebody who was always awkward looking as a kid and probably through high school and probably fell into some better looks as an adult, and so now he's pledging on that because now people are
he
finding
grew
him
into it.
attractive. Yeah, that's what he gives to me. It was like, oh my gosh, he's not. Let me explain something. He is handsome. I'm not gonna knock him. He is. But the problem that I have with him is when he opened his mouth and started
Yeah.
actually talking,
I'm
and
not even
that's
gonna repeat the things that he said,
yes,
y'all.
it
This
was
guy, he's a fuck
ridiculous.
boy. And that's just what it is. He's a fuck
He's
boy.
somebody that I feel like would do better with a man than a woman.
Ooh. Oh.
Hmm.
Huh.
I said
You
it.
know what though? I
I
have
said it.
noticed that a lot of the men who are overly like macho or feel the need to brag about how many women that they've done, they do end up like, trust
with
me or don't
with
trust me, 20
yeah,
years later, they
yeah,
come
later.
out.
They end up with men later because they
Yeah,
realize it's
it could
easier.
be
It's
40
easier
years
for
later.
them. Yes, I've ran into plenty of men like him. They date men. It's like when they're like, yeah, late 40s, 50s. They do it then, and I'm like, yeah, you're
Oh,
better off.
man.
A lot of
See,
y'all men are better off with men. Y'all just don't want to admit it, but it's like it's not a big deal. If y'all will take gender out of it, you understand. That's why I said it's a whole other conversation.
personally, I feel like everybody should try both just to know what you like, just
I
so
do
your
too.
options. I did that, and it let me know, like,
No, I think you should
females is
do it
cool,
to
but I couldn't
understand.
be with one.
No, I think if you do it in like in a way where you're serious, don't just do it just because you just was curious. No, if you do it in a way to understand, some of y'all intellects are better with the same gender than it is opposite. Some because understandably so, we're trying to be in relationships to make each other happy and stuff. Some of our chromosomes don't mix a lot of the time. This is why people shouldn't have babies with random ass people.
Yes, yes, that's actually true.
Because yes, because
Yeah.
our chromosomes are not meant to mix well. That's the whole point of sexuality. That's why I said sexuality is more scientific than it is psychological. But y'all not ready for this conversation, so I'm not gonna give it to you. Let's continue on.
So we see his friend Benz, who's irritating. He's an F boy. Then we also see Sandia's friend Stephanie. I am not surprised that her friend is somebody sweet and gentle.
I loved her.
I liked her a lot. She gave really good. You know how some people you see on TV,
No, she
you
was a
could just
friend because
sense
she was
they
ready to jump over
energy
that table on Ben's, and I was ready for her to do it too. She
because
told him, she said, "Shut up. That's not what
he
it is."
he did way too much.
He
He
did.
did.
He
I was
did.
glad she checked him. So meanwhile, y'all back at the photo shoot, Jody and Aaron claim to be feeling chemistry. Yeah, here I am, black, blessed, and fabulous. And I was just not feeling the chemistry. People who are in relationships, you don't even have to be in love. People who are like attracted to each other or in a good place or enjoying each other, you can just sense the chemistry between them, that attraction. You don't have to know them, you could just sense it. And I did not sense anything. Here's the other thing, they both like to take pictures like this professionally. They told us this prior to this date, showed us some of the pictures. So I feel like they are both the type to like put on for a good photo. I felt like the date was out of nowhere personally, but it did look like Jody felt nothing. And then she confirmed because they have a little intense kiss during this photo shoot. And she says that she felt nothing and she feels bad about feeling nothing. My thing is, homegirl, why you feel bad? You claim to be a man eater. You claim that this is what you do. It should be nothing. Tap into the you that you claim you so comfortable with and cut them loose. Use them piranha jaws, chomp chomp, and cut his ass loose. She
Because
said herself that she is a man eater. Okay, listen, I'm a Gemini. Before I got married, I listen. I might have been a little bit man eater too. Switch a dibble dabble. It was nothing to cut somebody loose. Stop playing. People who are used to doing that are used to, doing this. So tap into what you have to do. If you're not unhappy, if you're not happy, then don't sit.
which is why I don't believe her. Which
Mm,
is why I don't believe her, because if she's a man eater the way she says she is, this wouldn't be hard to unravel and dissolve. This wouldn't be that hard to do. I feel like she's lying to herself. And let's go back to the sexuality thing. She's
mhm,
somebody I feel like is questioning her own sexuality, which is why she attracted someone who we all think is
mhm.
in the closet as well. I think she attracted exactly what she is. Because the fact that it was her worst, I didn't feel nothing. But in the terms, he gave it all he got. So at least you could have felt was the sentiment that he at least was trying. You didn't even say that, which makes me think it's not him that we're questioning sexuality. It's now you that we're questioning sexuality because I don't believe that you're a man. I believe you're lost, and I believe that in terms he's not what you want because you want a manly man like Chris over there to come get you up out of whatever funk you're in. And I think that that's what we're looking at here when it comes to you. And that's what I'm going to say.
I personally feel like she met him. She wasn't attracted to him. Um, like without even attacking how I feel about his sexuality or anything. I really think it's just that simple. She met him, she wasn't attracted to him. I think that they did have some type of a good friendship or something, and that might be what's making it hard for her to dump him. But I think the worst thing that you can do and the most selfish thing you could do is to allow somebody to feel like they are in something that's going to be lasting and that's going to do them well. And you not really in it. Like, be honest with your intentions at this big age. And it concerns me that Aaron thought that he felt something and like there was energy there. Now it's making me think, okay, Aaron, maybe you not so gay, maybe you just a little bit more metrosexual, and maybe you just lack game entirely. Because how could anybody not sense that this person is not into you? She's just not that into him, and he really does seem like
I don't think that that's. But like I'm saying, I don't think she's not into him because of who he is. I don't think she's into him because of who she is.
no, regardless of the reason, Aaron is blind to it all. And so I'm
Well, yeah,
looking at
that's true
like
too. Yeah, that's true too.
like who have you dated other than the person you got a kid with? Because he gives me, now I'm looking at him differently. Who you dated other than your baby mama, Aaron? Because a cricket could tell that that girl don't like him, but he seems to still be wanting to try and all the extra
Like I
stuff.
said, unless there's something we didn't see, which own, if there is something on the editing room floor that you didn't want to put in this just to confuse us all, shame on y'all. But yeah, it gives that either we didn't see the full thing and there was something between them, or they're both bullshitting and this is a storyline and they need to get the fuck off our screens because at the end of
It's
the
probably
day,
both. I feel like she more so also wanted to promote her business. What I will say is I don't like that she lied and told him that she sees herself staying with him in the long run when she knows that she felt nothing and felt the way that she felt. That was not okay. It just
this is
wasn't.
why this show needs a reunion. This is why this show needs a reunion. I
Yeah,
need I
I would
need
hope they
them.
have one.
I don't think they do, but they
Oh
need one
Lord.
because overall, we need explanations now. Not
Yeah.
only not so much with Joanna and Aaron, Jay, right? Black person,
Hmm.
but also I need some shit on the others in the house too because this is
Yeah,
getting
I
crazy.
also feel like if you can air certain stuff, if you can air it, you could talk about it, network. That's how I feel. You
Hmm.
aired it, so be willing to sit in it and talk about it. Give these people an opportunity to at least explain themselves for the ones that had to leave, and give the audience the opportunity to get updates and explanations because it's season. I personally feel like the first season of anything should get reunions because you know it's going to be a mess because they're trying to find their footing. So at the very least, we could get some explanations. But I don't know. We'll see what they do. Stephanie and Benz sit down with Sandia and Chris. Benz immediately says that he don't think a relationship's going to happen because they're not having sex. He says a relationship can't start because of sex. He says a bunch of egregious things that just show entire like ignorance. Also, his shirt was a size too small. Dude, if you work out, just buy the correct size. Just saying. Anywho, he also exposes that Chris is the type of guy to leave when sex is bad. I don't understand why Benz did what he did. Nobody is attracted to a man like Benz other than dumb girls and gold diggers. That's it. I don't see anybody else who's attracted to him, and he may not be the gold digger. Something that they would want because I don't actually know his income. So he's finding insecure women. I feel like he
Absolutely,
might.
he's finding women. No, what he's finding is insecure women, women who have colorism issues, like the Simone Biles type. He is finding those kind of women. He's not finding women that of stature that actually have common fucking sense and can read him out. He does
Yeah,
not. He does not have that. No, that's not what he. That's not what he gives me. And to me, I want men to get out of the mode that if sex is bad, then the relationship is going to be terrible. Men, let me be honest with y'all, and I know this ain't the conversation y'all ready to have, but sex really is not for y'all. Sex is actually for the woman. So until y'all have a basic level understanding of that, that you really don't play any other part of the feeling of emotion into that, stop saying that if the sex is bad, you're going to end the relationship because how is it bad if you're doing the work?
listen.
Please someone explain. If someone could explain that to me, then I'll shut up. But no, it's that's not yeah. It just I cringe because y'all say that to bring women's self esteem down. I know what y'all do because you make it easier for her not to have expectations and standards. Y'all do that a lot.
I'm not even gonna give him too much time. He was checked by Stephanie. Chris ignored him. Sandia was just looking at him like, I'm not even gonna say nothing, and she was right.
No, she wasn't looking like that. She was looking like, why is this your friend?
Yeah,
Like, why is this, why is this
concerning.
your friend? Like, why is this the
But
one
it
friend you
does.
have?
What I will say is, it does explain why Chris felt the need in the earlier episode, the first one at the end of it, to speak in such like a chauvinist, just like f boy
Mm-hmm.
type of way. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think he's actually that way deep down. I think he experienced the trauma that's making him like towards women, and I think that this is the friend who was around at that time, and they just been cool since. So I feel like he's used to having to speak like that around men because he's stuck around Ben's dumbass.
Right.
But
I agree.
you
100%. That's exactly what it is.
in some ways, like Sandia or really any woman that he chooses to be in a relationship with that has some balls, because I don't know that Sandia is strong enough for someone like that. Chris needs a woman who has the strength to be with him, even with him having an ignorant friend like that, and also to check him, hold him accountable, a woman that he could fall for that'll keep him away from that. That's what he needs. I don't know if
Yeah.
Sandia can do that. I like her,
She
but I don't
can.
know
No,
if
she
she can do
can
that.
because let me explain something to you.
She's too
Those
timid.
kind of let me explain, ladies also listen to me. Those kind of friends, when your man has that kind of friend, I'm telling you, he's gonna hold on to that friend for life. He'll let you go before he let go of that friend. That's just how that's it. That friend is the worst influence he could have. He's not letting go of that friend. So Sandia, be prepared to deal with Benz because you will be dealing with him. I can
Yep.
guarantee you.
Especially the fact that they live in Miami. I feel like
Yes,
that's the other thing. Chris being with like having a handsome friend or someone who pulls the women and kind of goes with the culture of the city a little bit. So I don't trust it, but he was annoying. Move it
that's right.
all.
Okay, so that actually makes a lot more sense in being light skinned living in Miami. Absolutely, he is
Yeah.
a bra.
Yeah.
He is exactly what the women look for.
Yep.
That's why
Yep.
it's easy. Never mind, I forgot that that's where they were from. Okay, makes sense. I lived there, guys. I know. Trust me.
That's where I got it from. From the things that your ass explained to me.
I
Those things.
forgot he was from Miami. I forgot that. Like it wasn't registering in my mind. Makes
Ah, yeah.
100%.
That's
Yep.
where
Yeah.
he
Guys
has
like
he,
Ben's
yep,
ladies, let me tell you something. In Miami, when it comes to women of all colors and especially, Haitian women, especially their culture, Ben's is exactly what they shoot for. And then they end up with people like Chris.
yep, yep,
Mhm.
yep. They but he's annoying. Everybody pretty much shut him down and ignored him, which I found to be funny. Moving on, y'all. Back at the house, Aaron is starting to feel the awkward energy between he and Jody. Other people are starting to sense it because her attitude is stank. Uh, you know, I'm glad that you're sensing it, Aaron. I'm not even going to talk about it too much because we'll see more next week. But this is way too late. They should have been had an expert come in to like attack this, nip it in the bud, and figure it out. They also should have had alternate couples for the ones that ended up bouncing out. Whenever you're working with couples on a show, or if there's roommates, whatever the heck is going on when you work with couples, you should have alternates because some can't handle being around other couples. Some start arguing, some you don't know their problems, or that like you just don't know. They should have had alternate couples so that when we lost a couple, we got another couple. But for whatever reason, they did things the way they did it. I agree with something Shayna underscore MCD said on her Never Ever Mets recap. I agree with this. She was like, they should have just had a bunch of people in the house who've never met each other, who were similar in types or something, and let that play out versus bringing people who never met living in the same city, you know, for years and years. Like it makes no sense. But moving on, in the episode, Diamond says to Shay, because Diamond is messy. I called it episode one. Whenever she gets
Mhm.
somebody comes in, talk about, hey, beautiful black queens, or hey girls, or whatever the person has to speak up, like I don't do females, is because they the problem. And Diamond has proved my point. She's been messy in everybody's business. She goes up to Shay and says that she's been talking to Alexis. Alexis and Dominique were a couple who was here, but they did not make it past episode two because things got physical between them. She got too drunk and he got physical, which he shouldn't have done. So I guess Diamond has kept in contact with Alexis, and Alexis said to Diamond that Josh tried to have sex with her. Turns out, when Diamond is going to tell Shay the information that she learned, Shay is aware that something of this scope of subject has been mentioned before because Shay says she knew because Josh told her that Alexis came on to him and he said that if he wanted to screw her that he could. I said, what the hell? So before I give opinions, I'm gonna just explain what happened. So Shay then asked Josh, did something happen with you and Alexis? Are you lying to me? And he says no. And then he tells the television show in the confessional that Alexis was interested in having a threesome with him and Shay. Which I don't buy. And the reason why I don't buy it is because in her early episodes, she said, and so did Dominique, that they are both extremely jealous. So, as extremely jealous people, self admittedly, in their own relationships when they were on the first two episodes, why would she want to have a threesome when he's tripping on
But
her eating,
it's
giggling?
not only that, they literally got into a physical altercation over jealousy. They
Her comment
literally got
about Hoochie Daddy shorts.
right. They literally, so you wanting to screw her would have been even more ammunition for this man to go crazy. Come on, Josh, stop being stupid.
The other thing that's shady, Alexis was cool with, and the roommate too, Shay. So why would she do that to a friend? Before I say what I think and before we hear what James said he thinks, uh, I want to point out if Diamond has a way to keep in contact with Alexis while in the house, why can't they contact Alexis right then and there before going to Josh to nip it in the bud? You've been contacting her in this house. So why can't you, even if we don't see it off camera, we just need to hear that that's happened. Why
I
can't
was
you
literally
contact?
about to say that. I'm like, why wouldn't y'all just call her right now
I wouldn't have
and
gone to
say,
there without having Alexis like on the phone,
right?
at least responsive to my text or something. Like
No, I
that's
wouldn't have went to no. She would have to get on the phone, and we would have to figure this out because he literally incriminated himself right there. Because that's exactly what
he
Diamond
told
said.
himself.
He
Yeah,
already told on himself. He already said, yes, she came on to me. I told you this already. She came on to me, and I wasn't with it. And all it is that Diamond just told the reverse story, saying that he came on to Alexis, and Alexis wasn't with it. So that's where the lie is, and we need to figure out which one of y'all is telling the truth. Now, in my honest opinion, I believe Alexis. I'm sorry. I believe Alexis only because of episode one. Had episode one not happened, then I would have believed Josh. But no, I believe Alexis. And the reason why I believe Alexis is because it's not hard for me to think someone having a baby on her, he would want to insert while she sleep with somebody else in the same house because they weren't
yeah.
going to get caught
He
because we
got
didn't know anything
forgiven.
about the
He
situation.
got if you get forgiven for making a baby on somebody, that's the worst that could happen. So why
Well, no,
wouldn't
if
they
he's if
forgive
he could
you
cheat then, he
for
could cheat
just
now. Like I
sleeping
don't
with
understand. Yeah.
somebody and not making a baby? Either way, it's always going to be the lesser of two evils. My thing is, we do see Shay get really upset. I'm not going to go over that tit for tat, but we do see her upset with him, and they end the episode there. We'll see it play out more next week. But I want to know before I offer my opinion: is anybody else thinking, Shay, how are you more upset at what he potentially did with Alexis than you are or was at him having a baby? I don't care if you didn't talk to him for 2 years. When you said that there was no apology or discussion, he just one day y'all just start talking again, and it felt like things were just still the same. Like, make
So
it
that
make sense.
so that's your question. Here's mine. Shay, if he already told you what happened, why didn't you tell Diamond? Oh, he already told me about that. I already know that. So I'll talk to her later
Yup.
and get her opinion. Because if
Yep.
he already, because they made it seem like that Shay was just completely blind to the whole situation, only for us to learn later on in the episode that he did tell her, "Hey, she tried to come on to me. Why didn't you shut Diamond
So
down right then and there?"
that is, I think, an important question. And your question actually leads to my opinion on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Josh, I believe Shay, I believe Alexis. What I think happened, the way Shay is acting, I get the energy that she talked to Josh about this privately off camera, knowing she's already embarrassed because he has a baby on her. And I think that she did know about this, obviously. I mean, she told on herself prior. I also think that Josh, his story aligns with what Diamond said. His story also aligns with what Diamond said is what Alexis said. So his story aligns with hers, but the only difference is they each say the other person came on to them. I
Right.
think that is where they are both lying. The way that she agreed to get up when that girl was sleeping, I do feel like something happened between the two. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Alexis deserved any of what she went through on the show with Dominique, but I do feel like something happened between the two. She does give me that type, no shade.
But see, the thing about it is, and this is where I'm going to say it wouldn't have mattered to me if she was trying and he was trying. To me, all he needs to do in that moment says, "Okay, well, I'm gonna walk you to the door. We finna go to sleep. Good night, and make sure you get to your room safe and close the door." The fact that they waited for her to go to sleep and you saw them both trying to leave the room
Yep.
makes me feel like, regardless of who started with who, it was still mutual
They
between
both
you two.
did something.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was still mutual
So
between you two.
I feel like they all wrong in that. And Shay to forgive it and try to keep it from the camera. To me, I can't really feel sorry for you, boo. You chose to forgive him after he had one baby, and I think he had the other one while he was with you too, based on the age. Separate from that, like James said, if you'll make a baby, it's nothing for you to just sneak out and
That's what
get
I'm
you
saying. Like
some.
that to me, that to me was a no
Alexis
brainer. Like I felt like, yeah, he cheated on you once, so what's stopping him
And
from cheating on you again?
Alexis, the reason I think she would have done it, for those who are like, that's the component that doesn't make sense, it does. This was the first night when they went to sleep. By the time they had went to sleep, they had already removed Dominique from the house. So she could have been mad at him, like, oh, you want to do this, as she was drunk also, so she's not in the right frame of mind. She could have been in a drunken form of vengeance and decided, F it, I'm going to just do this with who's available right now to get back at him. So I do think that everybody's guilty, but Shay's guilty because she's not choosing to put herself first. There's no reason to put up with so much. If you do forgive a man for making a baby on you, if he ever so much is forgets to snooze your alarm, okay, you got to put him out. Like once somebody make a baby on you, you cannot play with them. If you do somehow decide to try and be that outlier and stay with them, you cannot play with that. So I don't have faith in these couples no more.
Same here. I know. I don't have faith because now shit is getting stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have faith in them either. But
And why would y'all not film that? Why would you
that's what
show
I'm
it
trying
to
to.
us
That was
at
such
the
a
end?
missed opportunity right there because I that would have proved the point, even though Dominique was still wrong. But it would have proved the point that she does get a little flirty. And
Yeah.
maybe something else alluded to him. It gave him no right to still lose his cool. I'm not saying that gave him any
Yeah.
right, but it would have shown
That's
that he
all
is
the
right.
reason why he should not have lost his cool. What goes on in the dark always comes to light.
Right.
You gonna
Yes.
see people for what they are at one point or another. But the whole situation is ridiculous. And I'm looking at the network like they really could have gained an audience or held on to the audience even
Hmm.
stronger if they showed us that flirting and then
Yeah.
just let it go this many episodes so that we would have been wondering like when is this going to come up again. Invest it. They could have done so much with that, but instead they like throw it at us. But why are the people in the house allowed to have contact with other housemates like outside of the house? That's
That
very
is weird.
weird.
Yeah, that is very weird. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's weird. But that is it, you guys, for this week's episode of the Never Ever Mets. This was the episode, season 1, episode 7, the Newlymet game. The link to James's channel is in the description. I also shared on the community tab a video that he did of his book. He read the first 4 chapters of Fraternity Road, The Pledge. Check it out. Go ahead and click it. I think that you guys will enjoy it. My husband enjoys the book. Looks like Jen Bunny enjoys the book. People felt like there was a great cliffhanger at the end. So check out the book. I don't want to explain it because I'm not good at explaining books. I'll tell you the whole thing and then James will get mad at me because there'll be no reason to buy
No,
it.
I'm not gonna because I know that to some extent you won't be 100% correct.
No, nobody is. when nobody is. If y'all knew
No,
how unreliable memory was in like real time statistically, you'd be so surprised. But that is it, you guys. Check into his reading. I will be going live in about 5 minutes for my love during lockup live. But I appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you, James, for being here, and I'll see y'all next week.
see you next
Adios.
week. Bye bye.